What is the difference between a common or average mind and life and the absurd? Our mind's work is to fulfill the purposes that unfold in the actions we intend to make. We have social standards or social identity models that people attempt to fit into, some people. What are these models naturally? Two models exist naturally, or one thing can be or doesn't have to be. The one I put into the field of attention here is being a parent or not being a parent. This is just used as an example. Many live within this idea at the forefront of their focus. And within that perspective, therefore, existence is just a normality, a functional normality, and purpose normality. I'm here to have children. This is thought speaking to thought, mind speaking to life. What am I here for? It gives us direction and identity within the context of normal human function. This function to reproduce works within the normal curve of human desire and attention. Averages are based on statistics, on the number of people doing something, buying something, being something. This idea of being a parent is more of an adult idea. It starts to appear in the teenage years normally. It is the idea of having children, of being a parent, of reproducing that penetrates the thoughts. Then the self-inspecting mind may ask itself, what must it do to reproduce and bring up children? A question you learn to answer by raising children, by educating yourself on children's needs. We were all once children ourselves, so we have some idea of what children need, and we have some idea of what children need because they are of our own species. We realize that for some of us, that question is answered by the social avenues of education and occupation. So we see ourselves within that commonality in our culture. These models of becoming or having identity are culture-dependent models, whereas the models coming from human nature could be called models of human identity, or natural or human natural identity. How can existence ever be conceived as odd, as weird? Weird is no more than to be different. So we find ourselves many times replying to an event or to someone's thoughts, well, that's weird. The weirdness has its own model, but it's relevant to subjective experiences. For example, this man knows his dog can walk on two legs. His trick he taught him. This is normality to him, but obviously was a bit contrary to his perspective of what dog nature was at first. People that never see dogs walk when seeing the trick demonstrated on two legs, they think, well, isn't that weird? It's different. So we see in this example that normal experiences are so normal because of relative frequency of events within subjective experience. There are many things, like dogs acting contrary to their nature, that can be experienced in the world as relatively weird, where they are different than what we have personally come to know as our own sense of normality. But our culture or our nature provides us with an idea of normality. Existence is weird and normal relative to experience, culture, and human nature. Weirdness, difference, is only so because of the habits of our thoughts within a definable region of normal or frequent experiences. When you see something as weird, it is a case of novel experience. It's quite different to think of normality and weirdness as consequences of subjective experience. Each aspect of identity, be it fashion, be it our relationships and the tricks we teach our pets, can be judged within any person's own subjective field of normality. What is weird to one can be normality to another. Religion and objectivity are means of making the world think things are normal. Growing up indoctrinated, you become to sense all of your experiences as connected somehow to the rules and regulations in your dogma. Every cause, every effect in Christianity has been connected to God's purpose. Every single one can be. And this is an indoctrinated mind. In an indoctrinated mind, that's normality. The same can happen in relationships. Surprises are ways of amazing the mind with differences. We are culturally conditioned to expect things, like rings and marriage proposals, like gifts on holidays, like a social focus on days or even months dedicated to people who have lived within our culture. Every one of our behaviors, deeds, every one of our adventures, we can know as habit or novelty. With each desire, we can have an opportunity to create new habits or repeat the ones we've been stuck in. Thinking and being weird is a method of being creative. It is a method of change. The more weird our experiences, the more we know that we are experiencing creativity.